are back at the Amazon Remastered Finals, and the NFL representative decides to fight back in this series as BDS Academy grabs the first win and makes it 1-2. We have a series on our hand.
The classic. We have a series on our hands. Yeah, I mean, I would actually say perhaps they didn't decide so much as to fight back, more that Heretics seem to have allowed BDSA a pretty easy way back into this one with the draft, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's talk about the draft, actually, because Heretics, when you look at the bot lane and what made the success in Game 2, was this Lucian Nami bot lane, but they didn't manage to find the same agency this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big issue when you really kind of take a step back and look at this draft is you have two forms of engage. As soon as you lock in Jarvan, you kind of make that your primary engage, and you already see the Poppy. The Poppy's been there since B1, and I think the unfortunate fact of the matter is it kind of shut down a lot of the sort of mid-game options that they had, but also in the early game, we never really saw the likes of Zwyroo and bluerzor really linking up in the mid lane to try, at the very least, try and abuse the 2v2 early on, which even then, Poppy can nullify with the steadfast presence. So I think as soon as you lose that, and the 2v2 on the bottom side, not really favored, you get outranged, you get outpoked, it felt like Heretics very quickly ran out of ways to actually team fight into BDSA without finding initial skirmishes and picks first.
Yeah, let's review the bot lane plays also, because as we said, they didn't find the same space this time around, and to me, it feels like Karma was a huge factor in that, in the sense that he could just deny CS from the Lucian.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much you're seeing it here in the B-roll, right? Just being able to step up and have no fear alongside Crownie kind of just makes it so, yeah, there is no fear. Like you say, the shields can come in on some of the trades, and you're just seeing time and time again from effectively minute 1 by 4.5 minutes, I believe it was, they had 2 plays. This is exactly how you want a Caitlyn lane to play out, and no less is playing into a Nami Lucian who doesn't really have a strong level 1-2. It's really 3 when that comes online, and that got entirely abused this game.
Yeah, and you know, we saw this moment here where Heretics did a pretty good job of trying to mitigate that, you know, have the turnaround play with the dives, and even repeat dived onto Crownie here, so doing their best to try and solve the problem of the rough laning phase, but still obviously set really far behind by that.
Is it possible to come back after an early game like this when you look at the composition they have? Because I know, Ox, you were saying that they got Giga Draft Diff this game. How difficult was it for Heretics to just pull this one back?
I think it's tricky because for me, like, all 3 lane matchups are losing.
Yeah.
And you have a comp that wants to spike mid-game. Obviously, there's, like, in any game, there's always opportunities, right? You know, if mid-jungle maybe went a bit better, they could lean that bot. We did see them obviously go for that dive. I just think it's so hard. I think they set themselves up in a really difficult position. And, you know, I feel like it was a game I would expect BDSA to win 9 times out of 10 with that draft.
And that's the thing. I mean, draft is one thing, but we also talk about the fact in the pre-show that BDS was able to shine in team fights. And here, with the opportunities that they unlocked themselves, feels like they're back to what made them good previously.
Yeah, definitely, right? I think, again, being able to kind of go into it perhaps with that vitality mindset, where it was like, okay, we know Adam 1-1 is going to match up to Ibo perfectly fine. We're just going to continually force stuff through the bottom lane. And it kind of just works when there's, again, you kind of set yourself up for failure. I think, like Dan says, it's almost like you're playing from 3,000 gold behind, 4,000 gold behind from the get-go, when you're not really able to push the leads that you would perhaps want to. Yeah, it just felt a little bit too hard to execute here.
Yeah, I think you know, I don't mind if a composition has rougher lane phases. I don't like it. But at least in that situation, you want to have the scaling advantage, because I feel like BDSA's composition also is going to outvalue the later the game gets. So it just felt too many things stacked against them. I still have to say credit to Heretics for at least like giving it as much effort as possible, right? Trying to keep it competitive in that regard. But going into this next game, I feel like, you know, as much as BDSA have answered back, got a game win, absolutely fantastic, I still think they have the work cut out, because from now on, Heretics will have side selection, okay?
Yeah.
Even if BDSA win this game, obviously Heretics get it again. So presumably Heretics will go on blue side twice, and I think that's going to give them a lot of advantages.
I mean, we talked about this. Pulling off the reverse sweep in this situation is not the easiest thing to do, and obviously Heretics chose blue this time around. What can we take of the evolution of the series so far in terms of the picks we had at the beginning of the series and how Heretics is going to adapt on this one?
I suppose the big question is things like the Aatrox again, things like the Azir. Are these bans going to stay the same now that we're going to get, you know, another side swap? I guess the answer is probably I expect to see as Aatrox at the very least stay off the field, because it seems like at least going off that game 1 that's still a very pivotal pick here for both these teams. And then the second one, I think the biggest one beyond those 2 picks, Poppy, right? I think Sheo having access to this champion, it just seems a little bit too strong. He seems a little bit too comfortable on it. And it just, again, fulfills a lot of the wants and needs of the laners of BDSA, and he gets to enable their playstyle further.
I think the problem in my mind is that, you know, now that Heretics on blue side, it's kind of on BDSA to ban Aatrox, right? Because Heretics have shown they will just first pick it. But you're already banning Draven, Callista. You don't really want to leave those open. So it kind of restricts you because obviously another thing that can be left open is the Trundle, for example. They ban Trundle on blue side.
Yeah.
If you leave Trundle open, Poppy's not as much of an issue, right? Good matchup into can obviously steal away all those stats. So it'll be interesting to see the approach from BDSA because I just think, again, like being on blue side makes it so much easier when it comes to those bans, being able to target away these things that we've seen be so problematic.
And in terms of how the flow of the game should go, we know that in game one, especially, things were kind of slow in a way, but I'm just wondering what's going on. Or we can also watch this in fights because, yeah, again, we haven't talked so much about Sheo this game and his ability to track the junglers, I want to say, but also unlocking situations for BDS as a whole. And he wasn't shining so far in the series, but I mean, for me, game 3 was the moment he came alive.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he was set up for success from minute one. I think he's, like Dan mentioned earlier, 3 winning lanes, it's Jungle Kingdom. As soon as you see that when you walk into an early game and you have the ability, a single button press to deny the enemy jungler from doing what he wants to do as well, Sheo was really enabled from draft.
And I think this is like the ideal scenario for BDSA where they have strong laners. We know that, we've established it. You give them 3 good matchups and Sheo just gets to play the person who denies enemy jungle. Move around the map, shut down the aggressive attempts, let your laners flex their muscles a bit. And he just did a fantastic job in this one. So, you know, I think we've seen from obviously the tournament so far, but also the series, there is so many people you have to watch out for. You know, we obviously addressed at the start of the day that Jackspektra and Adam are the big ones, but I feel like you give anyone a free pass and they will look to take over the game.
Coming back to my previous point, the early game dynamic, Jamada, what can we expect given that we've seen a bot lane focus most of the time? When you can't unlock the mid lane, this is when Heretics usually struggles. What can we expect here?
Yeah, I mean, maybe more focused towards the mid lane, right?
Yeah.
It's probably my best guess for Heretics here. I think whilst the bot lane matchup didn't particularly go the way they probably wanted it to, I think that's just the nature of the 2v2 that ended up being drafted here.
Yeah.
I think, again, more enabling Zwyroo, more bluerzor, you know, proactive picks where he can't just be shut down by a single button press is probably the way to go. I think you probably ignore top lane. I think, realistically, if you try and play into Adam, it's a bit too coin flip, right? You risk the option of giving him too many resources. So playing through mid, unlocking the rest of the map through mid so you can go to a side lane. Specifically, I think it just has to be bot in this instance.
All right, let's see if they can close out the series because we have a series on our hands, but Team Heretics is still 1 game away from taking it all. And let's see if they can do it or if we can hear the silver scripts. Casters, take it away.
I appreciate the plural there, because for a long time, that felt like it was just in Heretics' hands, but BDSA are very close, 2 games, in fact, from taking it straight out of Heretics' hands and taking it for themselves.
Yeah, it's all well and good having 2 games up. Gotta get the 3rd. And in particular, that draft in the last game raises a lot of questions now for Heretics. You got things to worry about in terms of bot lane. It wasn't just dominance from Heretics. They actually had to deal with the Caitlyn Karma, and that kind of sucked for them. The Poppy as well, real force of nature from the side of Sheo. Lots of things now which Heretics need to reconsider.
And even though I do agree with something that Orcs mentioned on the desk, is like, don't ban Trundle, take it away, Poppy won't be as much of a problem. I don't necessarily think it's the champion interactions that made BDSA so strong in that game, as it was the comfort of the champions that they were on. Adam on his Gnar, that he has the pentakill on. Sheo on his Poppy. We had the Viktor, we had Crownie on the Caitlyn, which is played so much in this tournament, and he's learned to use it both ways, defensive and offensive, and Erdote onto that Karma. I think the fact that they were on such familiar champions made the difference, which I feel like you need to take the Poppy away, and you probably need to take the Sejuani, ban one, take the other one away.
And it's twofold, right? Because there's comfort on champions, comfort in playstyle too, as an overall team composition, because they're playing into a comp which they play both the other LFL teams on their side of the bracket with, in terms of early game, mid-jungle, bot lane pressure. And they slaughtered them. They 3-0'd them. They 3-0'd their way through both quarters and semis to the finals. Comfort on champions and team comp.
And we saw adaptations not just in draft, but in play as well, because this time, Sheo was there to counter the early Jarvan attempt mid lane, made that 2v2, burn some flashes the other way this time around. They had the pressure lanes, and Sheo wasn't losing those early moments of the game to attempted invades.
You say that, I have yet to see BDSA have a clean level 1.
True. Okay, level 1 aside, I was thinking, you know, the early levels with the lane pressure felt a bit nicer, but you're right, that level 1 wasn't great. That's fair.
That is the earliest of the early game.
Quick housekeeping. Heretics lost the last game. That means they get side choice. They have chosen blue side. Now, BDS Academy forced to ban out the Azir.
Poppy or Sejuani?
There's Poppy, there's Sejuani, there's
Never mind.
Viktor. There's a lot of power picks left up. Now, BDS Academy, if they want to lock in something like the Sejuani, that's obviously very powerful for them. Of course, that Poppy's still available too. They have options. What's their most comfortable power pick?
Now, the only double-edged sword that I see with BDSA is that they're so used to having 3 damage sources that put Adam on Sejuani and then locking in the Poppy kind of takes down one of your damage sources and put them on a facilitator. They're going to choose to go again with the Lucian Nami, but I'm very happy to see the Poppy locked in.
But they choose not to lock in a Sejuani to topside. Heretics don't have that, and we have flipped the script on bot lane champions. Crownie, Erdote, they are not the kill lane bot lane. They've been pressure lanes.
But they are now.
But they are now. And what a better time to show up with this play style. But you gotta make it work now. If this fails, this Lucian Nami falls behind. You saw what happened in that last game to Heretics.
I think because that Lucian Nami has been locked in, I will say it over and over again, Reeker, before he joined the LEC, was one of the best roaming mid laners in the ERLs. The Rise, the Silas, the Taliyah that we have not seen at all in his hands could be lethal. Shoving in that wave, roaming towards that bot side of the map, using that Lucian Nami as a lethal weapon.
And that's a great point to bring up, because when BDS Academy was struggling at the start of this split, it was when Reeker was on the control mages, and they found success through most of summer by putting Reeker back onto those roaming picks. Now coming into Amazon EU Masters at the end of that split, right here, right now, that's when Reeker went back to the control mages, and he found success on them. It was an evolution. It was finding success where they hadn't before. Going back towards roaming picks now, particularly with such a proactive draft in those first 3 picks, could very well be the angle.
I want Aibo on Ornn here.
Do you?
I did not expect me ever saying this, but I feel like having the Aphelios set in stone, having the Viktor set in stone, you're scaling to that late game. Add an Ornn for non-committal engage where you can chain Moonlight Vigil, you can chain the lasers from the Viktor, and you've got a very solid front-to-back teamfight composition, and then bluerzor can choose and pick whatever jungler he wants to play.
That is scrim information, that set. That set ban has got to be scrim information, because you've still got stuff like the Darius, you've still got plenty of other picks in the Adam wheelhouse. Sejuani is left open, but what we've been asking for, let's be honest, for most of the knockouts, has been this Taliyah. It's back, it's a roaming pick, and it fits what Reeker wants from this mid lane champion.
You can take Sejuani and Ornn here.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got 2 non-committal engaged frontliners that if any of these squishes manage the Poppy gets hit, someone gets blown up.
Absolutely, I tend to agree with that. Of course, maybe they just go for one or the other. Trouble, you are actually just an oracle. There's the Ornn. See whether she gets the Sejuani right as well here. It's certainly a very valuable option, but clearly we are blessed with a mind-reading Calicaster here,
well,
Alex.
I can potentially throw in a bit of a caveat on the other side, where in terms of like, Adam loves playing anti-tank picks. I wonder actually at that point whether you can even start picking something like a Fiora up for Adam. At that point, we've rarely seen it in the ERL scene, at least in terms of what we've had in this tournament from the knockouts onwards, but it's still a tanky, engaged topside. Adam has his pick of the litter, goes back to the tried and tested Gnar.
Makes sense.
It's a matchup known.
It's pretty good into the Ornn. You actually bully him underneath the tower now. What I really love Aibo onto the Ornn here, again, it's the front to back, and it also opens up all the opportunities for bluerzor to pick whatever the heck he wants, because the engage tool has already been locked in. The front line has already been locked in. What I really like him on this particular pick is because if we back all the way to spring 2022 in the LEC, when Broken Blade was playing that champion in the exact same style, using him as a kill weapon to bully the lane out, and then he was permanently banned against Broken Blade, Aibo has been using the pick in the exact same manner. So expect him to go toe-to-toe with Adam when he's been out.
See how that plays out in game. I think Eyes, BDSA's mid jungle, a lot of roaming, a lot of dive pressure from that Poppy and that Taliyah. The efficacy of the Taliyah perhaps fallen off a little bit in plus, some of the patch change and stuff, but we know exactly how that works. Hell, just look at how Mad Lions were succeeding in the regular split of the LEC.
You said a forbidden word.
I know, I said regular for a reason. This is playoffs, and of course, BDSA are no strangers to being second place. Second in spring in the LFL. Failed in groups at the Amazon European Masters. Second again this summer, and they would sure as hell like not to end second here today. They need this game or it's all over.
Of course, it means so much to these players as well. Lots of ex-LEC talent would love to be LEC again. And with the run they had through this knockouts, they've got a lot of work, a lot of proof of concept on the tapes now to bring forward. But they would love to cap that off with a victory. Heretics standing in their way and have 2-point match points now with 2 championship points back-to-back to try and close out the series.
It's another look from both teams, but one of those commonalities is Sheo's Poppy, and we saw how damn good he was on it the last game. Even if it wasn't getting involved with the kills, he was denying so much. He was spending 30 seconds keeping Ibo out of fights, preventing dives, stopping easy turnaround and potential kill options. I feel like he's going to have to try and do that again this game. That smile, though, Trouble, says you're just a little nervous this time around.
I just don't think it will have the same strength in this particular comp because there's not a lot of dashes that you can stop, right? Especially when Vi R's on a target. But as we're going in-game, which could potentially be the last one in this series, for the love of League of Legends, I want BDSA to have a clean level 1 so Sheo can start where he actually wants to.
And in this game, I mean, Aphelios isn't much of a champion at level 1. Can't really do much apart from say, hi, I'm
don't worry, I'll play Katarina. That's even worse.
You know, the only champion that was worse was level 1 old Akali, where you just like throw the little hammer.
Hammer.
Like,
You know what? Saying this though, I have seen a Katarina level 1 solo kill an Ahri level 1. Don't ask me how or why.
I have also seen
Was it Alex playing the Ahri?
I've also seen that on occasion.
Was it you?
Crazy. I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. Jackspektra in less... I believe Jackspektra in less trouble towards the spot side. Does have the Aphelios Lulu lane. This was the answer into the Lucian Nami at Worlds last year.
Yeah.
When Lucian Nami was so strong. Now, Crownie walking up, has the first strike. Able to essentially walk up.
What do you got for me?
Success! Sheo is gonna start in the camp that he wants to, with full summoner spells.
Phew.
Everything's going according to plan. This is the first clean level 1 game that we've seen from BDSA, and that's really important because now I'd like to see what he's gonna choose to do with that whilst Ibo is actually taking the heat on Adam.
Yeah, just pop down that Q, try to see if he could trade in. Important thing to note, though, is that there is actually a ward on both sides of the jungle, and that means that these junglers are going to be tracked to some extent. Sheo starting in the right place, at least in his mind, but now potentially has to deal with the mind game of both teams knowing where the junglers are headed.
See what that amounts to. This time around, less lane pressure from BDSA, and that has proven problematic in games past for them. Last game, they were pretty happy with the amount of pressure they were able to put down. Of course, still a lot of room to go, and see whether either of these junglers can make something of this.
I think Jackspektra and whiteinn are trying to crash in that wave, and as you can see, Sheo has already pinged his Gromp that will give him the fastest level 3 towards that bot side of the map, which means that he could very easily turn it around and try to gank, but very importantly, you'll see the pings. They think that whiteinn has actually warded. It's not the case. Jackspektra is going to put one down now.
Particularly because these two 2v2s are very much kill lanes. You gotta rush for that level 2. You can see that Jackspektra and whiteinn traded their HP to just make sure they hit level 2 first. You do not want to give up an early level 2 all-in to a Lucian Nami. They successfully get that. Now bluerzor is there to protect them. Now that wave is pushed in.
Also, very importantly, once that ward got placed down and pinged by BDSA, Sheo said, screw it, I'm just going to keep clearing that bot side of the map because they know that they're under enough threat.
Oh, he goes
I'm
into my steal.
Okay.
That was close. Smite from Sheo secures it, but now he needs to be perhaps a touch afraid as he heads towards his wolf. bluerzor feels like he maybe has the opportunity to just continue to chase in here. Sheo dragging the wolves over towards the mid lane.
Thing is, the way that Sheo is dragging the wolves around means that he will always have vision of bluerzor when he comes around the wall, so he will be able to W bluerzor's Q when he tries to go in. So really nice placement right there from Sheo, making sure that he does get his jungle away from bluerzor.
You can see Reeker was not pushing in at that point. I think that's a calculated decision. You can get priority over the Viktor at that point, but if you give an angle towards bluerzor to go into that mid lane, you get your flash blown. You saw what happened in game 1, right? You lose a flash on a lower mobility champion in that mid lane. Viktor can very much put you into the dirt at that point. So Sheo loses out on a big wolf to that smite, as Sam rightly pointed out. But Reeker stays safe in that mid lane, and I think that's a trade which BDSA kind of had to take. It was the lesser of two evils.
Was indeed. Nice attempt there from Jackspektra with a little 3-weapon combo, using the Severum Onslaught to switch over to a Graviton part way through to try and get a bit of a chunk down to Erdote, but doesn't lead to too much.
Yes, use the weapon names instead of the colors.
I learned all of the abilities for all the weapons.
You know what? I'm gonna say blue and purple for the rest of the game.
You're that kind of person, huh? All right, I see how it is. We're 4 games in and the hysteria sets in, I take it. Kind of want to talk perhaps a little bit big picture here as well, because Heretics, 2 games. First game was pretty clean. Second game was a bit back and forth when the mid game went a bit awry. But now they've lost a game, and we all know reverse sweeps are a very well-known phenomenon in League of Legends. That third game, especially if you're 2 up, is such a dangerous place to be.
bluerzor's here, dive in the bot side.
This is the kind of attempt you need to go for. Polymorph comes through, is cleansed away from that bluerzor, is in danger. Aqua Prison lands onto whiteinn. Adam is nearly at Mega Gnar, forces a flash out of whiteinn as well.
Oh, clutch cleanse from Crownie. Make sure that he doesn't get smashed by the VIQ at that point, but Adam loses his flash for this defense.
Also, your mid lane is being shoved in. If you look into the jungle, Poppy is going to take your entire jungle as well. So the fact that Crownie doesn't lose his flash, no one loses the life for BDSA at the bot side of the map, and only Adam has to commit with his teleport down bot, is actually pretty good news for the side of BDSA. And Adam gets to walk back into his lane and take the majority of that way that was pushed under tower.
Yeah, you know, Adam is going to lose something in this top side, but actually, Adam is prioritizing the rest of the map. Going back to the draft, actually BDS Academy prioritized a bit of the rest of the map too. Remember that when it came around to the second round bans, it was onto junglers, not onto top laners, not onto these champions which can nullify. And honestly, given the state of this series, what's happened with it, BDS Academy did much better in the game where Sheo had jungle priority, jungle winning matchup, the ability to impact the map. BDS Academy starting to find successes with that in mind.
Have, however, burnt that teleport now, so a little harder to defend against a potential re-dive, but whiteinn down his own summoners makes him a potential target of note. Has been a tempestuous early game in that bot side, even if it does feel like Jackspektra is the one who's managed to get the early advantages. Adam forced to flash away because Gnar was coming up and there was a spell book there. Maybe he thought there was an ignite or something coming his way.
Adam probably thought that bluerzor was around the corner as well, and you don't necessarily know. He must be really close to level 6 too, so you definitely don't want to be playing around if Vi is around as well and could follow up on the knock-up after the Ornn ult. But nevertheless, this is a flashless Gnar now. Top lane, bluerzor is going to hit level 6 pretty soon, so that could be a target that you're looking to pin down.
And Adam is no stranger to overextending into a jungle gank.
Yes.
So maybe he's thinking, heck, do not want to give that up when we are on this championship point. Sheo sees bluerzor. bluerzor does not know Sheo is that. And BDSA's bot lane is first to this scuttle.
Oh no, bluerzor knows. Great flash away from that heroic charge, but down that summoner now. Perhaps there's a turnaround available. Gonna potentially secure the Scuttle Crab. Smite is available, taken by bluerzor. Jackspektra hit with the Aqua Prison, but not taken down.
Okay, what bluerzor did right there reminded me of a meme over in TikTok where it's like, I'm not gonna do it, girl, I'm not gonna do it. And then he just walks in and he's like, I did it.
Well, that does mean that, well, you don't really lose things from BDS Academy for doing that.
knockout.
See, this top side is starting to, for one of the first time this series, start to actually bleed quite a lot over into Adam's advantage. Ornn is not really a laning specialist anymore, just becomes very, very impactful later on into the game. You see the Sever and Crescendum combo from Jackspektra, making sure that he can trade back fairly well in that bot side.
Now here's the thing. We talked a lot about Reeker's Taliyah, and I'm gonna hold it for now.
Gonna try and hold on. They've got summoners, they've got a barrier to hold on, but it's just first blood. whiteinn got nowhere to go.
Well, I just want to chat about Taliyah, not necessarily about her roams, but about her front-to-back ability when it comes to these team fights, right? Aphelios is a champion that if he does have the sniper, he does not care about Taliyah. If he does throw a full-range Moonlight Vigil, Zwyroo onto the Viktor does not necessarily care too much about Taliyah. He's just gonna poke whoever comes near him and then let his ultimate do the job. And as for Ornn, you cannot stun him because he does have that immunity to the stuns with his spell. So Reeker's Taliyah, he's gonna have to be completely on point to catch someone off space and get that huge value out of your W, right? Where people cannot dash over. But all in all, right here, even though behind in gold, I do still favor Heretics for the front-to-back ability.
Do you want to call out a little bit of an itemization choice here by Jackspektra as well, who's gone towards those steel caps as well first on.
We're scaling.
Exactly, literally, but you can kind of see the damage there. It was kind of non-existent.
Ticks will be my DPS until I build the next item, but...
Where's the call?
Where is... That's a good question. Not here for now. But this does... Well, it looks towards that bot side, top side is where the player is currently.
Misses the ultimate, the Keeper's Verdict. Adam with the Ignite on top of him, and no Mega Gnar in sight is in danger. Sheo trying to trade this one back out. Misses the knock-up, and bluerzor will not commit. There's Reeker on the other side. Zwyroo there as well. Throws down the gravity field. Good seismic shove, but Reeker is dead to right. Sheo now left out to dry. He'll throw down a Keeper's Verdict. And the verdict is he lives for now. Can he get far enough away?
And this is how easily that Ornn can bully away the Gnar.
Death ray, siphon power, and he'll siphon the life of Sheo. He's dead.
And Zwyroo in the semi-finals had a monstrous carry Viktor performance when the rest of his team needed him to stand up. Gets himself involved in game 4.
He's gonna get Mega, but is it gonna be in time? No, it's not. Flash away by Ivo, and he survives. Who's the best top player in the IRL?
I heckin' love Ornn, baby! Because you can bully away the Gnar when he is minion. That's exactly what Ivo did in this situation, whilst Heretics on the bot side of the map are trying to sort of dissuade any unfortunate situation, not going down to the Lucian Nami. But if we see this again, Adam right here is Minina, and very nice dodge from bluerzor on Sheo's ultimate. You see how you get bullied. There is a spellbook on Ivo as well, so he puts down the Ignite onto Adam and they just bully him away. And Reeker, he's trying to roam, but he's pinched between members of Heretics.
And then the outcome of this is now you have a lot of gold onto the top side. 2 kill participation, or rather 3 onto Zwyroo as well on the Viktor. Remember, that is earlier upgrades. That's relevant at this point. You're going to get more ability for this Viktor to impact the game. If they weren't winning front-to-back fights already, they certainly are going to now with this gold influx in towards this top side.
Feels bad, man. Sheo right there died to Airy.
That's actually pretty harsh. That's frustrating. But that now means the top side of the map for Heretics is ahead. Something which BDSA are a little bit of a stranger to, frankly. They're now down not a huge amount of gold, but it does feel like Heretics in the last few moments have been the ones with the more effective plays.
Yeah, and that gold in towards topside, of course, it affects the 5v5s, one of the first things you think about with Heretics comp. But BDS Academy, one of the ways that they saw themselves through their semi-finals was by side laning on the Gnar. And that can be very impactful into the Ornn, especially when you've got a Taliyah on call as well. And if you give too much gold over to this top side, actually that side laning can take a hit as well, especially if it does mean you reach earlier upgrade potential for the Ornn, earlier second, third items. And at that point, maybe you start losing out on other win conditions for BDS Academy.
I just want to point out that the top side of the map is kind of under attack, but Jackspektra is going to back down to his tower because there were 3 members of BDSA looking to potentially get a pick onto that Aphelios. But whilst the Aphelios is soaking away all that pressure, 3 members from BDSA, Heretics have found a pretty good window to sneak into this river and get that first dragon. And honestly, the fact that this Ornn, 12 minutes in, is even with Gnar that sort of bullied him away this entire time is perfect. The fact that the Lucian...
Dive potential on top. Let's see what happens to
the fact that the Lucian is supposed to... Jackspektra is actually going to respect that.
I don't know how much respect does he have.
I'm not gonna do it, girl. I'm not gonna do it.
He's there. Okay, seismic shove goes wide. Ivo's here. It's all a bait. There is the call of the Forge God. Will knock up 2. Can they follow up any further? Herald is summoned. They're going to have that one down in the jungle. It was nearly timed out, but BDSA being forced to run away. Can they hold on here? Sheo on the reset is running up the top lane. Whether they'll be here in time is another question.
This is 5 members from Heretics top side. Adam is left alone on this bot tower, but he doesn't have teleport. He's not coming to the play. So BDS Academy going to lose out on the first tower towards this top side. Shots given over to Jackspektra.
Massive damage, and that's just a dead whiteinn. The Lulu is taken out.
Out of anyone being in the front line, I did not expect whiteinn on the Lulu. That actually gives a lot of the pressure back to Heretics.
Takes a lot of damage into the cease and desist. Smites for healing, but he don't think he's got enough healing to get away. That wall, though, will prevent too much of an easy follow-up. Gravitum, binding Eclipse. Sheo falls, flash out from bluerzor. The trading in continues, but it will still be the 1-for-1, all things said and done.
If you give Heretics an ability to make an aggressive play, they're going to make it. They end up doubling down on this top side play, leaving Adam on the bot side of the map, and it does pay off for them in this game.
So 2v3 currently as Reeker decides against his bluerzor chunked out onto that red buff. Will he have smite up? He doesn't. Trying to heal up, goes over the wall and survives. Takes the red buff to Zwyroo.
Very nice stuff right there from Heretics. They take the entire top side whilst also defending the bot side of the map. Aibo,
Erdote?
with the spellbook, is going to TP and stop Adam from sieging that bot lane tier 1. And let's see this again. Right here, whiteinn overextends a little bit. We said that if you get caught in a knockup from Taliyah, you're most likely going to die. And the Lulu being forward from anyone else, we have so many tanky members on the side of Heretics, is very unfortunate right there. Heretics, though, on the other hand, they know that they are in numbers advantage on the map because Reeker was mid lane and Adam cannot TP into this fight. And they're able to take this fight straight into BDS.
No, honestly, real credit to Heretics for realizing the aggressive players there. Sometimes they have realized an aggressive play is technically available, not really stopped to think, should we actually follow through with it? In this game, it's very important that they're pushing the advantage at this point because they can't afford to just give Adam free reign on the other side of the map.
I'll say my little exclamation for the replay as well. 2 seconds on the flash from Zwyroo there, who could then have potentially chased out that Nami who stepped up to interrupt that back. I got a little nervous for it, got away with it, and BDSA maybe looking to punish this Viktor, who is towards his top lane, has to be a little afraid of the roaming squad of Erdote and Sheo, but he's wise enough to the potential collapse and backs on out.
Okay, so mid lane priority going to be claimed by Heretics. This is going to be the Herald started by them as well. Lots of ultimates going to be thrown at this one, and Adam is at the play for the first time.
Very importantly, though, Reeker does not have the wall available to him yet, and he might be a little bit too late because Adam is mega now right now. The wall is not there from Reeker, so BDSA are going to have to back off. The Herald is going to go over to Heretics due to the fact that they didn't have that.
Oh, Call of the Forge Guard knocks him away from come through, but the season is afterwards. Sheo will die, but it'll be tried out for bluerzor. Surely does go down 1 for 1 for now. Adam flashing on out to safety.
That is seconds, milliseconds away from being a monstrous fight for Heretics, but Aibo can't land the second part of the ult.
Oh, gets the charge, biting Eclipse again. Reeker flashing on out to safety this time. Turnaround's pretty good, and the trades are pretty brutal on both sides. Adam building back up towards the Mega Gnar, and we'll finally get some of those resets coming through.
Yeah, it's really difficult right there to play without your two frontliners. bluerzor goes in, gives a kill over to Heretics, but the second that Aibo is thrown out and has to do the walk of shame to get back into the fight, you've only got 3 squishes that are pretty long range, and they're trying to poke back and forth versus BDSA. Back in the bot lane, Adam is waiting in this bush. I don't know if you want to wait there.
It's a bit of a risky one, and with 40 odd seconds until this dragon, if we want to reset, it'd have to be now. Some critical flashes missing on both teams as well coming into this one. You can see Zwyroo and Jackspektra are going to be down there, but on the other side, the entire top side of the map for BDSA down that critical somehow.
You know what? We're actually very close to getting Reeker potentially towards that Seraph's Embrace evolution as well. 342 out of 360. Watch for that one. So much ability haste comes in after that completion, but speaking of that, Reeker on the top side of the map means that it's going to be a trade of turrets. Heretics using that Herald to break up in the mid-tier 1.
Yeah, Heretics, no, there's no teleports. Adam on the bot side, Reeker on the top side. They cannot join. It's literally a 3 versus 5. They've taken the mid lane tier 1. They've done a lot of damage to the tier 2 mid lane, and now they can very easily walk into this bot side river after shoving in that wave. Adam, though, very crucially, he's going to manage to take that tier 2, and it all lies down to bluerzor and Aibo. Can they hit these critical targets with their ultimates?
Okay, so BDS Academy, they take down both tier 1s in those side lanes. Adam does have an angle on the side. Aibo has his ult back up. Lots of ultimates just about to come back and available. Looks like we're ready to go for a fight.
Adam building towards that Mega Gnar, but no flash. bluerzor looking for a flank, but Adam will try and find his own on that one. Reeker over the wall, looking for a good Weaver's Wall angle. Adam now spotted that by bluerzor. That might just be a return of the favor. Adam now coming towards the Mega. This dragon started, but not really committed to quite yet.
Really interested to see what weapons Jackspektra is trying to head towards. There you go. He's got Severin Crescendum. You dive into him. You best have a damn good plan.
Don't sit next to the wall, Heretics. Don't sit next to the wall, Heretics. Adam, though, is gonna go into mini now, which means he loses this combat ability.
Reeker, there is the Weaver's Wall. bluerzor not to the wrong side. Culling not getting as much value down as the Call of the Forge Guard. Alongside that Chaos Storm Force, Erdote away. Dragon going down, Keeper's verdict. Knocks the jungler out, though. And now the smite is not there. Shad, they can try and turn around the 4v5. Massive turnaround. Crescendum hits them all with blenders. He's looking like a ninja. Throwing out those star signs with shovel to 2. Aibo survives. Cease and desist. Will not put Crownie into the ground quite yet. So many low members, but nobody dead. Finally, they get Sheo. It's now a 1-for-1. Both junglers down. Adam, nearly at Mega Gnar again, has found it. but everybody else so damn low, and it means the mid lane tier 1 is likely BDSA's prize.
Aibo has changed his teleport back in. He has Ghost, he has teleport from his spellbook. He's looking to potentially TP if another fight breaks out from the side of BDSA. But Heretics are getting away with murder. And again, this Ornn, who's an absolute meat shield in the front line, wins them so much time for the Weaver's Wall to go down, for bluerzor to get back into the pit and take the dragon. It's been the pick of the game for them.
This is an insanely micro-decided series in some ways. Game 2, remember that was a Baron steal to allow Heretics back into the game. Game 3, obviously very much on those micro plays early on, and in this one, around that dragon fight, you can see how close it was with Sheo actually managing to thread the needle.
Reeker.
Lots of skill shots needing to be landed.
No flash, he's in danger, but here come the teleports trying to test one Zwyroo, and bluerzor heading over. Aqua Prism onto Zwyroo, puts him in danger. Trying to trunk on Erdote. My God, the damage means he gets at least a 1-for-1. Shoved away and shut down by Reeker, however.
But you've traded mid laner for support, so that's definitely worth it for BDSA. Now you can start exerting pressure on the map, because you know that for 30 seconds, there is no Viktor that's going to be permanently pushing waves aggressively. Although Heretics are looking towards the top side, there is no ult on Vi.
For the Forge God, cease and desist, going to be charged up. There's still a flash, but nowhere to go. The seismic shove walked away from shut down. Sheo now coming up alongside Adam. Aibo will use that charge away. bluerzor trying to escape, but there's nowhere to go. He's got a cease and desist available. Maybe he can use that as an escape option. Vault breaker towards a tower, but it gets culled down towards the ground. Erdote respawns and will be here to support his ADC and getting that kill.
Double loss to the Lucian. Extra gold over towards Crownie as well. Absolutely significant for this. So, again, you're seeing Heretics buying into the aggressive plays. BDS Academy being in a position to just absorb that pressure, try and outplay, try and disengage and take a second crack at the fight after that point, and we are in for a very close confrontation compared to the rest of our games in this fourth game.
I feel like Heretics are over-forcing the issue because they do have the Viktor and they do have the Aphelios. Champions that are so strong, 2, 3+ items, scale so hard into the late game. You hit a Lucian, Nami, or Taliyah with one laser, with one poke from the Aphelios. They go down hard.
Here comes the collapse. It's from multiple angles. Teleport comes through. Jackspektra forced off the seismic shove. He's got a wild gun to keep himself alive, and he's actually pretty damn tanky. Tidal Wave now coming through. Will land onto 3. Aibo went forwards and did not enjoy that at all. Moonlight Vigil landed onto a lot of members, but not before the Forge God is receiving end of some deicide.
Yeah, you know about
Yikes.
you know about Ornn being, you know, less committal, non-committal ult. If you don't have your ult, you got to throw your body into the fray.
You're committing.
Aibo sees the E on that corner of the wall, tries to catch someone out, but BDS Academy have been very good actually about making sure they're not going completely close to that wall, particularly Reeker outplaying Aibo several times in this game now.
Also, this was the first time that I saw BDSA not necessarily being very coordinated. Sheo shoved Jackspektra off of the knock-up from Reeker, and this could have been actually, you know, Jackspektra getting out of this. As we'll see again, Reeker is going to fly in with the ultimate, and then the second that knock-up hits, Sheo is shoving Spectra away, which means that the Aphelios actually gets out, and Aibo overcommits while his entire 3-man team behind him gets knocked up by a Nami ult, which means that even if he did get that knock-up, there was no follow-up.
Yeah, that's the second part of the Lucian Nami. The Nami ult just allows you to separate frontline from backline.
It does feel like, from what was decent leads for Heretics, they've kind of been losing them because they're grouping so much. Actually, more gold, more minions are going towards the likes of Crownie, of Reeker, of Adam right now because they're getting to play on more lanes, with Heretics kind of grouping a little earlier for some of these objectives, and it is hurting that gold total just a little. It's not out of reach or anything quite yet, but a 2,000-ish gold lead is pretty significant considering the kill discrepancy, or what was a kill discrepancy anyway.
Of course, BDS Academy have the extra global. They want to split the map and then collapse back on this mid lane. So Heretics now heading back in towards the mid lane in force. Dragon in 30 seconds. It would be soul point for them, Cloudsoul. And actually in this game, I think Cloudsoul does have quite a lot of value, particularly for the likes of the Viktor. You put down your Chaos Storm at the start of the fight, and you're relying on your move speed to really get a lot of value out. Oh, gosh. Zwyroo doing so much work.
Shove into the Weaver's Wall by Sheo, but he's got very deep for that. Goes down, but Aibo traded back into 1-for-1 right now. The culling is pretty good. Wild Growth keeps Jackspektra healthy alongside a hell of a lot of shurikens. Reeker gets the seismic shove away, but he takes a death ray as a result of it. It's a 1-for-1, but the jungler for BDSA is down.
That is tank for a tank, but you do not have smite if you're BDSA. You've lost your Mega Gnar in the likes of Adam onto this Gnar. And Heretics are still looking because the Aphelios Lulu is still very strong. Spectra has his eyes on the Gnar.
Mid lane pressure now the aim of the game, and neither team feels comfortable enough to force their way into the river. Seismic shove does go just about wide. Jackspektra quick enough with the mouse clicks.
Feet dancing shoes on, but these death rays, you get hit by one, someone is gonna be stinging after that point. Heretics find their way over to the dragon for the first time.
Dragon spawned, everyone coming to collapse, but Ibo's
Sheo
not
is
hit
already
quite
there.
yet. Sheo is there first. bluerzor pretty damn low as a result of all the plays earlier on. Adam and Sheo will be spotted out by that far side alteration trinket. Everyone pulling away for the dragon for now.
So Zwyroo teleporting back in towards this bot side wave is back with force as a number of items completed to his name, and BDS Academy finally get themselves onto this dragon.
One last breath before the plunge. Adam looking for the flank nearly at Gnar. He's pulled it off before, down 2,000 HP. A smite fight available, tidal wave, curve, but instinct, massive! Gnar into the wall, but the turnaround from the side of Heretics is good enough to prevent too much of an engage. The dragon goes down, but now what about the turnaround? Ivo so low, needs to escape. Sheo looking for a flank opportunity, and BDSA get the dragon and get out.
And that's exactly what they needed to stop the streak, to stop the soul point. You'll see that Heretics are playing a little bit too aggressive. We mentioned how get that Lucian out of the fight, poke him down with a laser, but that is a beautiful Weaver's Wall from Reeker, and you see how Sheo pins the Lulu onto this tower, and Eyeball instantly melts. That's your front line. Vi is a pseudo-tank, he cannot walk in. Luckily for Heretics, Spectra had the right items, but Baron is live, Baron is gone.
It's taken. BDSA get it, they get it off the reset, and now can they escape with their lives? Heretics do not want to give this one up entirely for free. Adam, with Gnar still there, plays Bouncer, and they get it, get out all members. All they lose is a mid lane tier 2.
Well, that is a great steal under the noses of Heretics. Snuck it away from them. Now suddenly, side lane comp with this dominant Gnar, 2,000 gold up individually over Ibo. Not something we've seen as much of in this series so far. Has a Baron buff to play around on the side lane.
Teleported in to make sure he can start shoving very quickly. Zwyroo there is trying to shove, like hover, and find a way to get on top of Adam if he did decide to go in on an aggressive trade, but will not happen so far. Instead, BDSA get to reset and start shoving those waves.
BDS Academy managing to really play the fine margins in the team fights. And it has been a series of fine margins so far. It's been Heretics overstepping, but not always by an awful lot. It's ending up in 1-for-1s, not blowout fights, and that's testament to how well these teams know each other's limits. Trying to play to them.
And I'm gonna start raising you. Ornaments are coming through. 2.5 items to 3 items for the 2 Hyper Kairos for Heretics. You cannot count them out yet. They've got massive wave clear. Wait,
Crownie had to get close, but the Viktor is down. Massive damage back onto him though, forces some flashes. Jackspektra's been stunned into the wall. Why was he there? Why was he there? He's dead, and that means you've lost your 2 main carries. Those scalers are down. Maybe they lose even more off the back of this.
BDS Academy taking the mistakes when they're thrown at them, taking the games when they're thrown at them. 2 back-to-back for Heretics, answered in kind. We're going to game 5.
It's looking like it. Queue up the track. We all know what it's called. One of these teams is going home bruised, bloody, and scraping silver. BDSA on track for reverse sweep.
My oh my. Heretics threw their own game in BDSA's face, and BDSA took them down 4-0-7 for Crownie on this Lucian, playing a short-range AD carry into Vi, Ornn, Viktor, Aphelios. So difficult, but honestly, a lot of question marks to be raised, and I think this is going to have to be frustrating for Heretics. We just mentioned you got 2.5 items. They're probably going to take an inhibitor, which means you get a huge influx of gold from whatever is coming into your base. You'll get 3 items on your Viktor, on your Aphelios. 1 team fight, 1 Moonlight Vigil, 1 laser from Viktor is all it takes. And they just walk into death.
And game 2 was a story of a Baron steal. Game 4, story of a Baron sneak, which gets BDS Academy back into the conversation, back up to even, back to a best of 1 for the entire tournament.
This series has gone the distance. The LFL versus LVP rivalry has never been so tense. Can BDSA complete the reverse sweep and find a 4th title in a row for the LFL? Or will Heretics secure the first win for the Spanish region since 2018? you're going to have to stick around for a final game, and that means we've got to cut to a break for one last time before that's available. See you in a moment or two.